Welcome to RC4 Wireless, and in this video we're going to discuss how to illuminate a campfire using a 50-watt LED and a 2-channel dimmer. There's a few different things you need to worry about when working with a 50-watt LED. 1, you have to have enough voltage. 2, you have to be able to handle the current draw. And then 3, you have to worry about heat dissipation. These 50-watt LEDs generate a significant amount of heat, and you have to have active cooling to keep them within check. If you do not keep these LEDs cool, their amperage will rise, and as the amperage rises, you have a better chance of catastrophic failure. Let's look at the components that we need to illuminate our fireplace. 1, we have our 50-watt LED here. As you can see, it's quite substantial in size. Then we have our radiator that's attached to the back of our LED that's going to help dissipate the heat. We have our fan that's blowing air through that radiator and exhausting on this side. All this is inside of 3D printed housing. We have our power distribution board. We have our LumenDim M2 Micro. And then we have 3 12-volt batteries. We have multiple components that need to operate in different voltages. Our M2 Micro needs anywhere from 5 to 35 volts. Our LED needs 34 volts. And our fan needs to have 12 volts. So how do we make this all work? We're going to do voltage splitting. So our goal is to have our fan and our M2 Micro operating at 12 volts and our LED operating at 34 volts. And for the LED, we're going to use these 3 batteries in series in order to get up to the correct voltage. And for the fan and the M2 Micro, we're going ahead and use just 1 battery. So we're going to split the voltage off. And that's what the power distribution board is going to do for us. Battery 1 is coming into our board here, where we're going to split the voltage off. So we have a positive and negative coming from battery 1, and it's going directly to the M2 Micro to power it. We are taking the positive from battery 1, we're also sending it directly to the fan. The negative of dimmer B on the M2 Micro is running to the negative of the fan. That's how we're going to control that. As a reminder, dimming only happens on the negative of the dimmer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to link that battery 1 in series to the rest of the batteries. Once we get to the end of the series here, we're going to take that positive. It runs over to our resistors. We go through the resistors, we go to our fuse, and then we go over to the positive on the LED. Then we're going to take the negative on dimmer A from the M2 Micro, and we're going to run that to the negative on the LED. So by doing this, by putting the batteries in series and going through the resistor, through the fuse, to the LED, and then running the negative back to the M2 Micro, we're able to get our LED to 34 volts. Now that we finish our wiring, we're going to set up our M2 Micro. For today's demonstration, we're going to use the DMX cat. We're going to plug it directly into our M2 Micro, and we're going to make sure that all of our transmitters are turned off while we do this. Once we have the DMX cat software open, we're going to hit RDM controller. We're going to see our LumenDim M2 Micro. We're going to click RDM, and we're going to click on subdevices. Subdevice 1 is dimmer A, subdevice 2 is dimmer B. We're going to go into dimmer A here. We'll stick with DMX address 1. I'm going to click on dimmer. We're going to stick with the curve ISL. For output response time, I'm going to go to medium, so it's a little more towards tungsten in its response. For modulation frequency, we're going to stick with 5K. That's going to be better for camera use. I'm going to go back now and go to dimmer B. This is the important one. Dimmer B is controlling our fan. We want to ensure that our fan, when it's running, it'll run at full. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to set non-dim. And output response time, we're going to set to off, no smoothing. This way, when the console turns on address 2, it'll automatically bring the fan to full. Now that we've set our settings, let's go ahead and test our unit. It's important that you test the fan first to make sure it works before you test the LED. We don't want to accidentally melt down the LED. All right, we're going to take channel 2, which is our fan. We're going to turn it on. And we can see it's spinning. And we have good exhaust on the other side. I'm going to grab my LED and I'm going to slowly bring it up. And there we go. That's currently at 10% for the LED. We're at 50%, and that's full intensity. I don't want to ruin my camera, so I'm going to bring it back down. One of the great things about controlling your fan and your LED independently is that you can put the fan into a separate part in a queue. So let's say your campfire is fading out, so your fan and your LED are going out to 0. You can put your fan into a separate part and delay it by 3 minutes. That way the fan will cool the LED for an extra 3 minutes after the LED turns off, giving your LED more of a lifespan. We hope this tutorial was useful. If you have any questions or there's anything you would like us to do a tutorial on in the future, please drop a comment down below. Thanks for joining RC4 Wireless. Make sure you drop a like, ring that bell, and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with new tutorials coming out and how-to videos.